What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fig Heel YouTube channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at this week's wrestling figure reveals and news. And there's some pretty cool stuff, so I would stay tuned. First off, Happy New Year to the Fig fam and everybody who tunes in each week or throughout the week on social media. Whatever you do, thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful year. If you are new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button, like, comment, all of that. Help us get this channel to the next level. But today, we're going to be taking a look at all of the new reveals for wrestling figures coming up that we saw this week. Some things we've already seen concepts for, some are new, but we're going to take a look at it all. And we're going to start off with our friends over at Top Rope Collectibles. They showed off the factory sample of the green variant of their PN News Galoob style figure, and this thing looks excellent, arguably just as good as the hand-painted prototype. Last week, we saw the standard pink as well as the blue and pink, as well as the black version. This is the green singlet version, so I gotta be honest, I pre-ordered all of these, so I will be getting all of them, but I do love the green on this. I think it really pops. It's amazing how many PN News figures that we are getting. Shout out to him, man. Also, we saw some updated prototypes from KWK Kayfabe Heroes of TJP and Taka Michinoku. I think the molds look great. It appears that the TJP vest is going to be similar to that of a Mattel Elite, where it has the buttons on the side, the old rubber buttons on the side. Very different from that of the Yoshitatsu, which kind of had a vest that didn't come off. So I think that is a step in the right direction. I love the transparency coming from Sean over at KWK, giving everybody insight along the way, giving updates regularly, so nobody really has any questions as to where their money is and what the holdup is. I think that is a great way to carry your business, especially in today when sometimes these pre-orders take a little bit too long. So these are Kayfabe Heroes. You can get them at Shop KWK. We also saw from Title Run Toys, a lot of retro companies out there, independent toy companies, but they showed off the digital render of their upcoming Juventud Guerrera. And he has that punch style pose action, which is pretty cool. WCW era, maskless Juventud Guerrero. He's got all of his tattoos, the singlet, the green. The likeness isn't exact, but it is a retro, so it's not exactly pertinent for that to be happening. But I do think this is a great looking figure. And with all the WCW retros out there, I think this is very fitting for any collection. So not sure if I'm going to be picking this one up, but I do think it looks very good. Definitely want that Danny Davis, and I definitely want that Ernest Cat Miller that we talked about last week. But this is looking very, very good. We also saw some updates from Rush Collectibles, showed off the quote-unquote carded mock-up of the Spellbinder, aka Fantasio, that they showed off. It is up for pre-order now at rushfigures.com, but there is a limited variant of only 100, not really a variant to the figure, but it comes with something extra. It comes with cloth goods underwear. And you might be saying, why cloth goods underwear? Well, there was a little segment on one of his Raw matches where he came from behind his opponent, pulled the singlet back, and acted like he ripped their underwear off. So it's kind of like a funny little tongue-in-cheek thing, a little wink and a nod to add into this figure, which I think is pretty nice. There is no difference in price. Pretty much the first 100 get it, and the rest is just a regular figure. So I think there's not really to complain about, because it's just a free little accessory that's kind of like, cute and funny. So Fantasio, I'm definitely going to be picking this one up just because it's Fantasio, and I got to imagine we're never getting another one. So shout out to Rush Collectibles for that. And then, speaking of Rush Collectibles, it was announced that them and Grapplers and Gimmicks are going to be doing a Return of the Living Dead line, which is pretty interesting. Horror fans, I'm sure will love this. Got to be honest, I never saw this movie. It is a horror movie, a big horror fan, but I'm not a big, Living Dead fan, not a big zombie fan. I do know that it does have quite a bit of merchandise, but this looks like it's going to be extensive with the characters, so it's pretty cool. Not wrestling related, but they are two wrestling figure companies, so I thought it was worth noting. Moving on, there is the sculpt of Tarman, and then we also saw last week a sketch of Tito Santana. And I left it off because I didn't realize it was different than the Strikeforce Tito. This one has a shirted mold. He's got the sombrero on the back of his trunks. He does have the lightning bolts from the Strikeforce on his boots, but I believe this is straight up singles run Tito Santana, maybe even Intercontinental Championship era Tito Santana. So definitely got to get this. I love that he has the bent fist, so he can kind of do that like fist in the air, that fist bump that he would always do. So very cool. Looks like Tito's going to be getting quite a few. Would be nice to see maybe a new updated El Matador, maybe in some entrance gear to go along with that original WWF Hasbro. So let's see what Mitch comes out with next. He also, I'm sorry, not him, but ZST, we also saw was a Kevin Sullivan figure. Is going to be coming out next week for order. These are in hand and ready to ship. So very cool. He used the original mold from the original Kevin Sullivan from Series 2. Different face paint. He's got blood on him. He's got chest hair that is in the shape of an X, and he comes with a newly sculpted snake. You'll notice that there's even snake scales on the card. I think that this is so much fun. Even has this dog collar with the really thin chain, which I loved. I was so impressed by the chain on this figure. It's absolutely insane. Loved the first figure, and I didn't think I needed another one when there was teasing of another Kevin Sullivan coming, but saw this thing, and I'm like, holy crap, I think I need to pick this up. Zombie always knows how to reel me back in, but I do think this looks excellent, and I did love the original. He also showed off one of my biggest wants and anticipated releases of 2025, and that is the Public Enemy. These guys have been in WCW, WWF, and ECW and have never had action figures. They had a WCW Nitro Rod car, but that is not an action figure. Now, in 2025, we will be getting Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge in figure form, and I think they look incredible. Honestly, because I'm a Philly guy, ECW is a thing for me. I think I might need 2 sets of these, one to keep loose, one to keep mocked, because that's how long I've wanted some Public Enemy figures. Now, interesting enough, these are going to be dropping. These are in hand and they're ready to go, but they're not going to be dropping until February 17th. And Zombie Sailor Toys announced that there's also going to be some other figures that drop on the 17th of February. So very curious to see what he's got up his sleeve, but these are a must for me. Cannot wait for the Public Enemy. I think they look excellent. Johnny Grunge's head is spot on. Rocco Rocks is like a little bit off in this image, but in hand it could be different. Either way, these are must gets for me. And again, top anticipated releases of 2025 for me. From Major, we saw that they dropped a new Captain Joe Shoes Major Bendy, and this is the Garage Beer Major Bendy. Very limited, almost sold out. He comes in the green shirt, the black shorts. He's got the fish slides on and his trusty hose, as well as his captain's hat and glasses, that porn stash, and everything else you need that makes Joe Shoes Joe Shoes. These could be sold out by the time you guys see this, but Garage Beer is the Kelsey brothers beer. So does that mean that some Kelseys, some Jason Kelseys and Travis Kelseys could be on the way? Could be a tough sell, but we shall see. And they also showed off Big Rubber Guys Series 11. Series 11 is epic. It's going to feature Tully Blanchard. I love it. He's going to match Arn Anderson. But the thing I see a lot of people saying is they don't like that the chest hair isn't colored in. But if you look at like George the Animal Steel in the original LJN line, it was molded hair, as this will be, and it wasn't painted, because anytime you see them painted in the prototypes, it just didn't look good. So I think they went the right route of sculpting this on. It gives you the effect without taking away from the rest of the figures. I'm stoked for this. Here's Arn Anderson. They both come with championships. I don't think they're exact titles, but I believe one is a world title and one is like a United States. I forget, honestly, off the top of my head, but I think that this Arn looks awesome. We're also getting a Missy Hyatt figure, and she's going to come with a cloth goods skirt, in the vein of Miss Elizabeth, and a removable microphone. This is easily WCW Missy Hyatt, and a huge one for me. She's well deserving of a figure, and it's about time that she get one. So very, very cool. And the star of the show, Rick the Model Martel. This thing is epic. He's going to come with a removable sweater that is crossed over his shoulders and a Arrogance can accessory that even says Arrogance on it. I love the shades of blue on this. Very reminiscent of the WWF Remco Superstar shootout figure. So I'm stoked. This is a must get for me. And in my opinion, the very best Big Rubber Guys that they've done so far. From Foko, we saw that they dropped a new magazine collection bobblehead of Brutus the Barber Beefcake with that iconic cover. He's in that iconic gear that is very, very reminiscent of the WWF LJN. Not exact, but definitely has shades that remind you of it. And his shears crossing in front of his face, very, very cool. These are limited to only 100 made. So for anybody who loves limited edition collectibles, Foko is your spot because they've been dropping some really low numbered things. Also, Hulk Hogan limited to 124. This is my opinion, one of the best Focos they've done. This drawing of him, holding the flag and waving behind him, the WrestleMania drawing, absolutely epic with the WWE logo on it. And the funny thing is, I couldn't believe it. They included a WWF logo on the damn thing. The graphic, which blew my mind out of my head. Very, very cool. But I had to pick this one up. It limited to 124, kind of pricey, but it's so cool and it's limited. So you got to imagine you'll be able to get your money back if you decide you don't want it. So I suggest picking it up over at Foko. We also saw Hulk Hogan, 1985, limited to only 500 per size. So there's 500 22-inch, 500 16-inch, and 500 7-inches of the big shots. I think it looks awesome, but this is an easy pass for me. Very, very cool. He's got the cross. He's got the Hulkamania shirt. He's got the Hulkamania shirt around his head. He's got the receding hairline, the yellow and red. You love to see it. Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania are running wild on big shots. And now, some really cool things came out this week from Belleville Buy, Sell, and Trade on eBay. They have a bunch of concept art. I don't know if they were a designer, if they just acquired a collection or an estate, but they showed off a bunch of LJN concepts that none of us ever knew existed because, for lack of a better word, they kind of stink, right? Kind of like this drawing. This drawing stinks. And what it means is someone pitched to have thumb wrestlers that were scented. Very interesting. Here we see Adrian Adonis. That does not look like Adrian Adonis. Hulk Hogan and George Animal Steel. They would all have different scents. I think they said, let's see, George Steele would smell like the zoo. Hulk Hogan would smell like clean and pure shave lotion or maple or maybe apple pie. Adrian Adonis would smell like cheap perfume. They also had thumb wrestler bruisers that they would have some kind of mechanism that would make them bruise and turn different colors. And very interesting, but very easy to understand why these never came out. They also pitched a thumb wrestler arena where you would hook your pinky in and then you'd be able to, battle tag teams and such like that. Very cool, but not really necessary, right? And then this was interesting. A thumb wrestler lunchbox / carrying case. So one side would be a lunchbox to put your thermos and your food. The other side would have a clear window to store your thumb wrestlers. And then the other side where your lunch is, it could also act as a wrestling ring playset. Also, very easy to see why this never came out. They were really stretching, thinking outside the box, though, so you got to give them some respect. Auto ref, I thought this was interesting. Very ahead of its time to have a ref with a mechanism that actually pounds the mat. But unfortunately, the way this is posed looks like he's getting pounded on the mat and tapping out. Bent over in his black pants and striped shirt. It's easy to see why this never came to fruition. But maybe if they had one that was laying or in a different fashion, very cool. Reminds me of that Dave Hebner that would have the action that could tap the mat. Very cool to see this. And again, these are all available for bid on eBay right now as we speak. They did also pitch a WWF thumb wrestler ring, which I think is very useful. Later on, Toy Max for WCW released something similar, not exactly to this extent, with their 2-packs of thumb wrestlers, but this would have been really cool. As you can see, you got Hulk Hogan here. There would be holes in the mat. You stick your thumb through it, and then you can battle your friend right there. It has little breaks in the apron as well as the ropes, as you can see. Very cool idea, and it could have worked. You'll notice at the bottom, there's a stick that you would wrap your fingers around to hold on to. So this could have worked. It's very curious as to why this never came out. Also, I thought this was ahead of its time. They were going to have a Bad Guys Cheating Essentials accessory pack. This was going to be the first of its time, really, accessory pack. And it was going to have a cast. It was going to have a megaphone, microphone, chair. Looks like Terry Funk's branding iron, but it was going to have the WWF logo and crutch. Very, very curious set right here. Would have been really nice to see this for LJNs, but not everybody had holes in their hands or things that they could grab, so wouldn't really have been useful for everybody in the WWF LJN line. And last but not least, what I think is the star of the show, interview pits. Now, if you look at this, it wasn't going to be an actual physical playset as far as like plastic. Looks like it was going to be cardboard on the back of the blister where the figure was attached. And it does depict the 16-inch, I believe it is, Roddy Piper. But if you read the actual text on there, it describes the regular LJN line. So I think they just kind of included that because it looks cool. I don't really know. But these would have been for the main line. Would have been cool to have Piper's Pit. It would have had like a microphone camera and some lighting and stuff like that. Nice little accessories. And imagine all the fun you could have had with this playset back in the day. So if this is your thing and you're ready to spend some bucks, go over to eBay, search Belleville Buy, Sell, Trade, and you can pick these up. I just thought this was a lot of fun news. So cool that in 2025, we are still finding things that we never knew existed. Unreleased stuff. Absolutely mind-blowing, so it's a lot of fun. Make sure you comment below your favorite reveal this week and your least favorite reveal. Would love to hear it. Smash that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Fig Heel, and make sure you pick up the Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia, my new book, available now on Amazon.com, or simply go to heelbooks.com. And if you're unsure what that is, you can check that out right now. Are you a wrestling figure collector of WWE Mattel, AEW Jazzwares, and everything in between? Then you need Fig Heel's Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia, the modern edition covering all releases from 2010 to present day. Featuring over 5,000 photos of action figures from the hottest brands, including independent toy makers. Keep track of what you have, want, and need, including loose, mock, and overall collection value. With shots by Matthew Goldberg, the Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia is a must-have for collectors. Premium, full-color, and value black and white editions available now on Amazon.com. All right, guys, so that is all the time that we have for today. Make sure you join me next Friday for next week's Wrestling Figure Reveals. We'll see you next time. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, and we'll see you later. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Fig Heel. Pick up my book series on Amazon and my merchandise on ProWrestlingTees.com/FigHeel. Join my official sponsor, Whatnot, at WhatHeal.com and receive $15 off your first purchase.